What's going on, everybody? Caleb here. And I think my best videos are when I am almost talking like I'm live. If I feel like I have to script something, it usually doesn't come out the way that I want it to. So, right now, I'm going to spit whatever's on my mind, but really, I have a topic that I want to cover, which is what we did, right? The last agency that I was partnered in was at seven figures, right? So if you're anywhere from like 50K a month to 150K a month in your agency and you've been stuck there, like you feel like you've been doing the same numbers for a few months, maybe in a few years now, this is the number one thing that I did to break us out of that plateau. We were doing the same revenue, but really our goal was we wanted to hit 100K a month in profit within our agency. And we did that back to back. And we did that in less than 90 days. We went from doing anywhere, we were seven figures in revenue, but we were doing anywhere from 5K a month in profit to 20K a month in profit. I covered this in a separate video if you guys want to go ahead and watch that on my YouTube channel. But we were doing anywhere from 5 to 20K a month in profit. And in 90 days, we completely restructured the team, restructured the offer, same market, same service, same offer, similar offer. But I'll explain the one thing that we really shifted, right, to take us from that profit to consistent 100K a month in profit every single month, right? And that was really our goal. So this is more important than ever. Like, why now? Why is this important? You look at the agency space. I've been kind of out of the game for a while, right? And observing kind of like what's happening, right? And I was surprised to see like one thing is that people are still running guarantees and offers and crazy guarantees. I assume we still do that because we can get calls on our calendar and we can make sense of some sort of ROI with the amount that we're spending. The only challenge, and this goes into the one thing that we shifted, is that when you run an agency, the challenge with working with sales agencies or somebody that's just going to run ads for you and fill your calendar is they are going to get you more clients. True, right? And the way that they'll do that is anything that gets them a lower cost per lead, that gets anything on their calendar. Right? Maybe you're just running ads yourself and you're just trying to get a really good offer. And what has worked in the past was crazy offers, crazy guarantees. And so you say, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get calls and calendar. You do. The challenge with this is that you might sign on new clients, but those same new clients are the clients that will churn, right? And they'll churn at month 3, month 4. The reason why you stay stuck as an agency, going back to how to break through a plateau if you've been stuck at the same revenue level, it isn't because you haven't been able to get calls on your calendar or because you haven't been able to close more deals. It's that if you look at historically in your clients and clients that you have worked with, if you kept every client that you worked with and that you acquired up to this point, you wouldn't have to worry about acquisition. Okay, I think historically, like the clients that we've worked with in the past, we had like 450 historical clients that we have worked with. If we had all 450 that were still with us, or even like reasonably, let's say some left, but if we were still able to keep, let's say 80%, 70%, let's say that we still kept 300 to 350 active clients per month, you put that at a very low retainer, even at $2,000 a month, that's 600,000 a month in revenue as an agency. And you'd be compounding in growth, right? The real reason why you stay stuck, or you see a lot of ups and downs, but you look at the long scope of things and you're still kind of at the same revenue level that you were 6 months ago, is that you are acquiring clients. So yes, you'll see that little uptick in revenue levels in Stripe, but then 3 months down the line, churn will catch up. So the clients that you acquired, the same number of clients are leaving after month 3, month 4, right? Which leads to a dip, which is why you stay flatlined in your revenue. And it's especially dangerous because at seven figures, you probably have anywhere from, let's say, 30, 40 to 70 clients active per month, right? Depending on how much you charge on a retainer basis. So at that level, let's say you have 50 active clients, which is probably the average that we see within seven-figure agencies. 50 active clients at a 10% churn, which is pretty good, right? 10% churn is 5 new clients leaving. That's probably even higher. If you have 50 active clients, you're probably seeing anywhere from like 7 to 10 leaving realistically per month, right? On average. So that means every month for you to break even on the revenue levels that you're at right now, you have to just to break even, you have to acquire 7 to 10 new clients every single month. And that's not an easy thing to do, right? Like to acquire 7 to 10 new clients. And this goes back to why I was saying, like, why now? Is that there is more saturation. There is more crazy AI offers. There is more skepticism with your current market, right? Because they have worked with more agencies in the past 4 or 5 years. And what does that mean? Well, it means that acquiring new clients is significantly harder than it was 4 or 5 years ago. I think we can all agree, raise our hand, and say that that's true. So if that's the case, for you to break even, and the fact that you have to acquire 7, 10 new clients because 10 clients are churning, and it's significantly harder and it costs us more to acquire a new client, you are fighting this hat is crazy. You are fighting a uphill battle, my friend, right? And this is why you hit a plateau. So what is the solution, right? The solution is, and I coined this, I really sat down, I put some thought into this, of what I would call this and name this. But it is, this hat is throwing me crazy. The camera right now is like lopsided, so I can't really tell which place to put my hat. All right, I'm just gonna look crazy for a little bit. Jeez. The solution is what I call LTV-led acquisition. All right, LTV-led acquisition. I'll explain what I mean, right? So in the other example, in order for you to grow revenue, you had to take an approach where you would run an offer or guarantee that on whatever would allow you to close as many new clients as possible, right? And that was the approach. But the challenge and the problem with that is, again, those are the same clients that leave and churn. And also, that is the reason why you are plateaued as an agency. The reason why you're plateaued as an agency is because of the fact that you acquire clients who don't stay for the long term. Because if clients didn't churn and they stayed for the long term, you had that acquisition process that brought you in clients who don't churn and that stay for the long term, then you would compound over time, and that is the opposite of plateauing. So the only reason for you plateauing is that you're acquiring new clients who do churn. People think that the problem is their product, and so they'll spend months trying to fix their product, but then they'll realize that you already have clients who stayed for 12 months, 24 months, who have paid you a lot. Let's call these the high LTV clients. So if you already had the same product and service, and you have some clients who leave after 3 months, you have some clients who stayed for 12 months plus and have paid you a high LTV, and these guys have a low LTV, then what is the variable that has changed here? Is it your service? No, right? That was the same. You gave the same level of service to this guy, to this guy. So why does this guy have a way higher LTV and stay for 10 months plus, right? Rather than this guy that leaves after 3 months. Well, it's because this guy, the thing that has changed is the person, right? The system, the acquisition, the funnel, the sales process, I'm sure the product, all of it, the team was the same, except that on the other end was a very different outcome in terms of lifetime value. And lifetime value, if you guys go back to that quote of whoever can spend most to acquire a customer will win, the reason why is because when you can spend more, and Hormozi changed that quote a little bit, right? He said, the one who can make their client worth the most, right? Because when your LTV is the highest compared to your competitor, let's say that your LTV is this guy, you're only acquiring clients that are, let's say, 10K, right? They churn after 4 months, they pay you $2,500, versus an agency whose clients consistently are at the 100K that stay past 12 months. And this agency only acquires these types of clients. Well, this agency can spend what your lifetime value is. They can spend $10,000 to get a client that's going to pay them $100,000. This client, or this agency right here, he can't spend $10,000 in order to get a client that's only going to be worth $10,000 over 4 months. He'll go out of business. So that's why the one who can make their clients worth the most, which goes back to LTV, the one who can get clients who have the highest LTV are the ones that are going to be able to outspend their customer and win the game, is because this customer is worth more for them. And so they can outspend and outbid this agency. And for that reason, they can take up majority of the market share and be able to compound growth month after month. And this is how an agency doesn't plateau. Going back to our example, what did we do that allowed us to break through our revenue levels and 10x profit in less than 90 days? Well, we looked at not just acquiring more clients, but acquiring more of the right clients who are going to compound our profit and our growth over time. So this is exactly what we did in our agency. We did that in 90 days. What does that look like for you? Okay. The thing is, if you run a agency, you've been running for 2-3 years now, you have the most valuable thing that I think agency owners take for granted, which is your own data. And this is some real sauce that I'll go into. This is what I've been studying the past few months that I believe is going to be the biggest game changer in the online info space, in agency space, which is that we have so much data, whether it be Fathom, whether it be ClickUp, whether it be Notion, whether it be your ads manager, whether it be your Stripe. Your Stripe is going to show up a lot of data. And more specifically around the data, going back to how do you break a plateau, you have to acquire more clients who are going to stay longer, right? So not only do you want to have high LTV clients, but you want to have a system that can continuously get you clients who are going to stay for the long term. That's how you compound growth month after month, right? And scale profits. So how do you do this? Well, you need to look at historically your clients who only stayed for 3 months versus the clients who have stayed for 10, 12 months. Your low LTV clients, your high LTV clients. You can go through your Stripe data and you'll see the separation, right? Don't even take my word for this. Go into your Stripe and you'll see the separation of clients, right? And from now on, do not categorize these as the same people because you're not. They're not the same people. And the more that you can see that they're actually two very different people, the more you're going to be able to tailor your marketing, your messaging, and your entire business around a better cohort of people who are going to lead you to become a more profitable agency. That is how you are going to break a plateau. And so once you have this cohort, let's say that you have like 30 new clients, or you have 30 clients historically out of like, let's say 150 to 200 plus that you have in your Stripe data. You take the 30 that has been the highest LTV, so let's say 50K plus, 60K plus, or 100K plus, who have paid you the most per month and have paid you for the longest period of time. And you're going to take those people, you're going to transcribe, you're going to take all the Fathom calls, you're going to take all the ClickUp data, you're going to take all their GHL data, you're going to take down their niche, their intake form, the onboarding form, everything about them and them as a person, their checking calls, and you're going to process it through AI. You can use Claude, right? And large language models are going to look at all of that data and find the signals. And really what you want to do is you want to create a separation of here's the cohort and all the information, their sales calls and the transcripts and the language they use and the niche and their pricing and who they are as a business, their revenue levels, the number of staff members they have. And this was their LTV and this is what they brought back to us as an agency versus this subset of clients who this was their pricing, this is who they are, this is where we acquire them, this is how long they stayed for, this is their LTV. Low LTV, high LTV. And through large language models, they'll process, let's say hundreds of thousands of words and data points and different niches and pricing, and it'll find the separation between these two subset of clients, low LTV clients and high LTV clients. That is going to be your playbook and your strategy of how you are going to predictably, consistently acquire new clients who have the highest probability of being your highest LTV clients based off of your own historical data. And this is not theory because it's based off of what has already happened. And so now it is taking, this is the smart approach, right? Why take advice that is generic, that is not customized to your own agency and your own history of success and failure, low LTV, high LTV clients? Why not use that information that is personalized to you and what has already worked and failed for you? And moving forward, do less of what has not worked and do more of what has, and put more allocation and resources and focus and energy towards what has worked and scale that. If you do that, my friend, and you put a serious acquisition system around it, and you scale this part of subset of high LTV clients, and you only acquire clients who are going to be that because you know it's going to compound, and you know that any client that's in the low LTV bucket over here are not worth it because they're going to churn. Even though they might pay you, they're willing to pay you based off of the patterns and the signals and what you've seen in your own data. They're going to churn after month 3, and you say, well, we're not going to even use language in our messaging, in our ads, and we're going to gear all of our resources, allocation, focus, messaging, offer towards this, what this client wants, and go more specific on this client so that our messaging really lands in their bones when they see our ad, that they become a lay down sell every time they hop on, and they're okay with higher pricing because we specialize our offer to cater to them instead of just being an agency that wants to catch everybody, because we understand our data and what has worked for us in the past. And then we march, and then we set a plan to march forward and get more of these clients. I know I'm rambling here. To take this all the way back, when we did this for agency, this is even before we had the large language models, and so now it's even easier for us to process way more data at a better rate, in a more effective way. But when we did this, for us, it came down to a specific sub-niche, right? We cut all the clients who are low LTV. We stopped running ads to this type of client, and we optimize our ads to talk to this high LTV client based off of our data. And our messaging, our positioning, our offer, all of it was catered to that. We spent $30K a month after 2-3 months of really optimizing the data, scaled to $30K a month, and then month 3 went from $5K a month in profit with a team of 22 to cutting and firing low LTV clients from our roster, tailoring our team from 22 to 7, and scaling our profit from $5K a month in profit to $104,000 a month in profit in 90 days, literally 90 days. I think it was like 93 days or something. And we went from like 110,000 revenue at that time to 180,000 or 179,000 in revenue in cash collected that month. Completely changed my bank account, my partner's bank account, and the positioning that we had. And better yet, I mean, this is the best part, right? That's just numbers right there. But on the other end of that, we were getting clients who we knew had a very high probability of staying long term. And these were better fit clients. These are clients who, we sign on and we're confident in getting them results, and they actually plan out to get results. And guess what? When you get better client results, so not only is this process led to you acquiring more of the right clients and having a system that can do that, but also signing on clients who are stay long term. And when you have a system that doesn't hurt the other side of things, of the business, or the fulfillment side of the business, but actually helps in hiring your chances of being able to provide better fulfillment, have a better product. When you do that, you get better case studies and you build better brand reputation. Word goes around. So not only are you able to get more referrals, which will decrease CAC, which will increase lifetime value, right? Which will allow you to compound and have better margins as an agency. You're also going to have better case studies. And so what happens when you have better case studies? You have better marketing. And not only do you have better marketing, you have better marketing to the right people. And so you're going to attract more of the better fit high LTV clients because you're really now using those case studies into your front end marketing. And guess what? It's a compounded flywheel machine, right? That you just continuously pump. This is what I see in the agency space. If you're at 7 figures and you've been stuck there for quite a while and you run an agency, listen, as an agency, we have different challenges than info, right? I see a lot of people going to Jeremy Haynes. I think Jeremy Haynes is probably one of the best guys, but other masterminds, whether it be info, right? These guys run a different business than us, right? They don't run a recurring model. And in a recurring model, the reason why I say this is that when you are working with a recurring high ticket model like the agency space, the primary thing that you have to focus on is lifetime value. And you will have, because it's recurring, there is clients who can pay you forever, right? There's going to be seriously clients that you can sign on who are going to pay you have already paid you for 2 years straight since you started the agency. And there's clients that only paid you 3 or 4 months. Whenever that exists, that's what we call a power law, which means that you can get significantly different results, right? More or less like coaching, for example. If I sell somebody at 8K, even if they get better client results, which is a good thing, right? But if I sell somebody at 8K who gets better client results versus someone who doesn't get good client results but they still pay 8K, you get what I'm saying? Versus in an agency space, somebody will get bad results and they'll churn, and you'll see that in your LTV. It'll affect your LTV versus clients who get really good results and they stay for 24 months and they can have 10 times, 15 times, 20 times the LTV. And so if we can make bets that we get 10 to 15 to 20 times outsized returns compared to any other agency in our space, then we win, right? Economically, just simple math, our customer and the chances and the CAC that we spend to acquire a customer and the return that we get from that customer is a way bigger ratio than anybody else, and for that reason we have higher profits than anybody else. We run a better business than anybody else, and we don't plateau month after month, and we don't try to do different things and 10 different things and still be at the same revenue level. We're just compounding growth month after month. And so if this is, I hope this was valuable. I know I went on a little tangent with my little hat there. If you're in an agency, you just want to jam, you want to use your own data, I'll show you how to use your data. It is the most valuable thing that you're sitting on. And no coaching program is going to give you this, okay? No coaching program is going to tell you how to use your own data. They're going to tell you what has worked for them, which is valuable. But you already have, I'm telling you, once you see the numbers, you'll see that you already have everything that you need to know about why your agency is not growing and what you need to do to grow your agency. And it's all in what has worked in the past and what has not worked in the past. And most people just don't connect those dots and then set that as a strategy moving forward. I hope you do.